Telecom for hosting this program. I'm Shannon Terry, the Public Information Officer for Otter County, and we hope that this show will show you who we are and what we do in Otter County. Today, our program is going to highlight ditch inspection. So we have Kevin Feldbaum with us today. Thank you for being here, Kevin.
Thank you, Shannon. As Shannon said, my name is Kevin Feldbaum. I'm an engineer and Otter County ditch inspector. I currently have one staff, Weston Malmstrom, working underneath me. He's more of the grounds guy, being out in the field, and I'm pretty much in the office taking calls and that sort of thing. So.
Okay. When I think of ditches and county ditches, oftentimes I think that it's the ditch along the highway. But I understand that that is not the case with the drainage ditches in Otter County. Could you explain those a little bit?
That's a real good question, and actually we get that a lot. I get a lot of phone calls with individuals talking about, I have a problem with my ditch. Well, they're usually talking about road ditch. The difference between a county ditch and a road ditch is a county ditch is actually a drainage ditch for water that drains water from fields and lakes. A road ditch is obviously going to be that ditch next to the road that handles water in a rain event off the road, but then it's also used for snow, to store snow in the winter.
So if these are drainage ditches, I'm guessing that a lot of them are in farmland. So who owns the ditches actually?
The ditches, it's called the county ditch. It's not actually owned by the county. It's actually owned by the property owners. So individuals that are adjacent to that system own the system. The county is involved sort of as the referee to make sure that neighbors, are playing nice so that they're not plugging up the ditch and causing issues to each other.
Okay, thank you. Could you explain how these are funded? Because you have said that there's going to be some maintenance by the county. So how are the drainage ditches and the inspections funded?
So the benefited property owners, being the landowners, they are the ones that actually fund these systems. So back in the early 1900s, these systems were petitioned by the property owners. So the property owners came to the county board and requested that these systems be built. So in that time, the county went and built these systems for the property owners. In turn, the property owners then would pay back that money to own the system. Going forward now, what we need to do is we need to go and perform what's called a redetermination of benefits. What that does is go out and determine which properties within that drainage basin are benefited by that ditch. After we do that process, we know every parcel's benefited amount, and people are assessed according to that percentage. Now I know that it seems like that's a tax, but that was the request of the original benefited property owners to build this system because they felt there was a need for that to be there.
So these are very historical and have a long standing in Otter County?
Yes, yeah, they were. In Otter County, we actually had 70 systems petitioned for. Of those 70, 60 were built. When that all started, that actually started back in early 1900. So 1900 to 1923, the 60 county ditches were built in Otter County. We haven't had any new ones built since 1923.
That's really interesting. And Otter County has really been innovative in ditch inspection throughout the state. So in the past, could you describe how you used to inspect ditches, and how do you do that today?
Sure. So as far as drainage inspection goes, it actually is written in Minnesota State Statute 103E that county ditches need to be inspected on a rotating basis. What that actually lays out is it needs to be inspected visually. So, back 50 years ago, the only way that you'd be able to do that is walk the ditch, hop in a canoe, that would be your visual inspection. Now, obviously, some of these areas, they're middle of the swamp, so it's really hard to get to. With current technology, now, you hear a lot about drones and stuff. Well, we reached out 3-4 years ago to a local company to see if they could assist us in doing these drainage inspections. So now we actually use a drone to fly over the ditch to actually capture our inspection. It actually works out really well because it's a lot quicker, it's a lot safer. It also gives you a vantage point up in the air where you can actually see the larger scale of what's going on.
So what do you do if you see a problem?
If we see a problem, whether that be a plug, a beaver dam, trees falling over, we'll take it case by case. If it's a beaver dam, we'll go out and have a trapper come out and trap the beaver, and then we'll remove the dam. If it's trees falling down, we'll hire a contractor to come in and pull the trees out, clean the ditch, that sort of thing.
Thank you. When it comes to the long-term plan for the ditches in Otter Tail County, could you describe that plan or the goals?
Sure. Our long-term plan, and like I said before, our county ditches were built 1900 to 1923. So at that time, the original benefits were determined. So those were the parcels that were determined to be benefited by that ditch being built. As time has progressed, techniques have changed where we now know that not only the properties adjacent to the ditch are benefited, we know that properties that can be a mile away drain towards the ditch and are benefited. So our number one thing on our plan, what we're planning on doing is going and performing what's called that redetermination of benefits. That's a great first step for us, so we know exactly who uses the ditch and how they're benefited. After we have that determination, so we know which properties are draining and using the ditch, then we set up the assessment to know, get money coming in so that we can perform work. Our big goal is to get all our county ditches back to that original functional state so that they're, open, no beaver dams, they're handling water. In this day and age with the rains that we get 4 or 5 inches at a crack, these ditches need to be functional. That we can't have it rain, things flood, and then go and react. And we want to get out ahead of that. So that's kind of our long-term plan, is to get these maintenance funds built, do work ahead of time, not reaction, and restore what was originally intended.
And these seem to be of a priority for Otter Tail County. You said that these go back to the 1900s, so it's something that seems very important to the function of Otter Tail County. So if you were going to tell viewers how this benefits most people, could you describe that?
I guess, in order to explain that, there's a lot of individuals that may live on the family farm that their granddad went and started, built, that whole thing. Well, if we look back in some of the old records, we can find some of those folks' grandfathers or grandmothers who petitioned for this original ditch. So what we want to do is, they saw a benefit. They saw a reason why they wanted this built. So, we're trying to go in and make sure that that's maintained. Now, has the use of these ditches changed over the years? Yeah, it has. Initially these ditches were used for farming purposes, that individuals would, have more cropland, better cropland, that, now they could graze their cattle down in these areas. Has that changed some? Yeah, it has. A lot of our county ditches are tied to lakes.
Oh.
So with these lakes, these county ditches actually act as the only functional outlet for those systems. So a good example would be if a lake does not have a county ditch on it or a natural outlet, it's in essence a bathtub. So if we continue to get a lot of rain, the bathtub fills up, but it doesn't have a drain. So at that point what happens is, properties flood, cabins flood. In the instance where there's a county ditch involved, we want to make sure that thing is maintained and functional so that when we do get those heavy rains, there's a drain that's there to make sure that that level is maintained.
Thank you. Is there anything else you feel that the viewers of Otter Tail County should know about county ditches?
Definitely, I'm one person, I've got one staff underneath me. Otter Tail County's big. We have 400 miles of county ditch. Do not hesitate to give us a call. If you see something within your county drainage ditch that you feel needs to be looked at, or you're starting to see some flooding concerns, let us know, because obviously we can't be everywhere at once. So yeah, definitely, we're kind of ahead of that, but we need help because it's a big area to cover.
And you had mentioned that drones inspect ditches. Do you have videos of those drones, or is there any way that maybe property owners can watch those videos?
Yeah, so part of our inspection process is to use the drone, because what it requires in state statute is that a written report is written about the inspections that we do. With the drone technology, we actually make a video of what we've done. So that actually is better than a report, because now not only am I seeing what's out there, but now any property owner can view that video and see exactly what we're seeing. All our videos are posted on our county website through YouTube, so it's very user-friendly that people can watch those videos. And actually for our county, with the 60 county ditches, we're on a rotating basis, so we fly about 12 a year. So we're probably halfway through all the county ditches currently. So yeah, every year we'll be adding 12 to 14 new videos. So.
That's wonderful. That's a really good way that our residents can engage and really see what is going on in our county and what ditch inspectors and other staff of Otter Tail County are doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Kevin, for being here. Thank you for that information. Thank you, Otter Tail Telecom, for hosting our program. Otter Tail County, live your best life here.